the news tonight. Ondo State constitutes committee on palliatives towards cushioning effects of fuel subsidy removal. APC carpets opposition parties for demanding INEC chairman's resignation over EU 2023 election report. Electricity tariff hike looms again as 11 discos apply for rate review. And from the foreign scene, world leaders blast North Korea for launching fortified ballistic missiles. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the news. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. Authorities in Ondo State have constituted a state committee on palliative to cushion the consequential effect of the fuel subsidy removal on residents. Briefing journalists at the end of the State Executive Council meeting, the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Emmanuel Igbason, assured that governments will continue to place premium on the welfare of the people across the 18 council areas. Government House correspondent Timile Infalade now completes the story.
Rising from the weekly State Executive Council meeting, the Cabinet appears ready to consolidate on further delivery of dividends of good governance to all residents. The Commissioner for Economic and Budget, Mr. Emmanuel Igbason, who briefed Government House reporters at the end of the meeting, said government is aware of the hardship faced by the masses following the fuel subsidy removal. Igbason said the palliative committee, headed by the Chief of Staff, Olugbe Ngali, will soon convene a meeting to work out modalities for the success of the intervention program.
Commiserate with our people for the hardship that has been imposed upon them due to the removal of the fuel subsidy regime and the flexible exchange rate, which has pushed the price beyond the limit of many of us, and everybody is involved. There's no one that is exempted from the consequential fiscal headwinds that we face today in our country. But we can assure our people that as much as we protect the vulnerable, also those that are not so vulnerable will also be touched.
According to the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Amidu Takuro, the Council has also approved some chieftaincy tools in Oketukpa, Ilaje, Ose, and Akoko North-East local government areas. Takuro added that the Council equally approved 2 warrant chiefs for the purpose of selection process of Olushupari of Shupari Akoko in Akoko Southwest Council area.
In Oketukpa local government, the Olugbe of Ube, Akoko in Akoko Northeast local government, the Olukaro of Ikaro in Ose local government, also the Maporure of Agregia Eri in Ilaje local government. All these are existing schools that were.
The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Femi Agagu, said the Executive Committee has approved the construction of 4.75 kilometers selected roads in Igbobini and Agadagba, both in Eseldo local government areas.
ESCO also approved the construction of 1,000 meters concrete walkway at Obela in the local government area of the state. ESCO also considered the progress on the number of other routes that are ongoing and where approvals are necessary, approvals were given.
On measures to combat incessant cases of flooding in some parts of the state, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Environment, Oyeni Yoseni, said concerned authorities have activated structures and processes to cope the challenge, even as they urge residents to desist from indiscriminate dumping of refuse on drainage and river channels.
By the way of dumping refuse inside the channels and the drainages and all the holes, are mostly responsible. However, the government are able to move swiftly to address the situation, deploying equipment and facilities to clear the strategic areas that are responsible for this project, particularly when we look at the area in which particularly we're there to supervise.
Oseni said the government remains committed to protection of lives and property of our residents while putting in place a robust mechanism for a brighter and more fulfilling future. Similayin Falade, OSRC News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has declared a state of emergency on food security as the federal government stepped up efforts to tackle food inflation following the removal of fuel subsidy. Tinubu also approved that all matters pertaining to food and water availability, as well as affordability or essential livelihood items, be included within the purview of the National Security Council. This is to be followed by an immediate release of fertilizers and grains to farmers and households to mitigate the effects of the subsidy removal. Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, disclosed this to newsmen after consultations with key stakeholders in the agricultural sector value chain at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. In a related development, facts have emerged that lawmakers will get up to 70 billion naira in the 819 billion naira supplementary budget passed by the National Assembly. The Senate had approved the $800 million World Bank loan request by President Bola Tinubu. The sum will be extracted from the 809 billion naira Supplementary Appropriation Act 2022. 500 billion naira was earmarked for palliatives and other capital expenditures to cushion the effect of the recent fuel subsidy removal. 70 billion naira was budgeted to support the working conditions of the National Assembly. Similarly, 185.2 billion naira was earmarked for the Ministry of Works and Housing to alleviate the impact of the severe flooding experienced in the country in 2022. Also, 19.2 billion naira was budgeted for the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to ameliorate the massive destruction to farmlands across the country during the severe flooding experienced last year. Moving on to other stories, the Chairman Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria, Abubakar Sulaiman, has declared that state houses of assembly in the country are now financially autonomous. He explained that the country's constitution had been successfully amended to provide financial autonomy for state houses of assembly. Sulaiman, who is also the Speaker of the Bauchi State Assembly, added that entrenched in the amendment are the modalities for the implementation of the autonomy. Speaking during the injunction for State House speakers in Abuja, Sulaiman expressed confidence that autonomy would bolster legislative institutions at the state level and ultimately ensure sound governance. Now to Sokoto State, where the governor of the state, Ahmed Aliyu, has inaugurated a judicial commission of inquiry to investigate some of the actions taken by the immediate past administration of Aminu Waziri Tambuwal while in office. The panel, which is chaired by a former Chief Judge of Gombe State, Justice Muazu Abdul Kadir, is expected to submit his findings within 2 months. Speaking while administering oath on the members of the panel, Governor Ahmed Aliyu urged them to deliver on their duties with utmost sincerity. He stressed that part of his campaign promises was to ensure accountability and transparency, which he said will not be just about the last administration, but also be a major factor in his government. The governor said he decided to step up the judicial panel of inquiry to yield to the yearnings of the people whom he said deserve to know how their resources were managed during the immediate past administration. Opposition parties in Nigeria have demanded the resignation of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Mahmood Yakubu, on the basis of the European Union Election Observer Mission report, which gave INEC low mark in its conduct of the general elections. The Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party said the EU report on the election confirmed their positions that the 2023 polls were not transparent or credible, but the INEC and the All Progressives Congress (APC) dismissed Yakubu's indictment by the parties. The electoral agency had declared the APC standard bearer, Bola Tinubu, the winner of the presidential election, but the verdict was challenged by the LP, PDP, and other opposition parties. Atiku and Obi, however, rejected the results, with each claiming at separate press conferences that the election was fraught with violence and massive rigging. Chief Observer Barry Andrews, member of the European Parliament, who presented the preliminary findings of the EU report in Abuja on June 28, observed that shortcomings in law and electoral administration hindered the conduct of well-run and inclusive elections and damaged trust in INEC. You're watching the news at 7. We'll go on a quick break. We'll return to serve you more stories. Stay with us.
The words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide. Happy birthday!
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Welcome to Buckingham Parks and Gardens,
The epitome of standard and luxury living. Nestled amidst nature's beauty, this exquisite real estate development offers you of comfort, elegance, and tranquility. Convenience and accessibility are paramount at
Buckingham Parks and Gardens. Children fun field and recreational centers are not excluded in this world-class aesthetic estate situated at Aisu Road, Owodiede, Oshogbo in Osun State.
Don't miss your chance to be a part of this extraordinary community. Contact our sales team today at
Buckingham Parks and Gardens.
Your dream home awaits you.
Agron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite Indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
A peak protein breakfast gets me to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes to his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a peak protein breakfast. Peak. Reach for your peak.
You're welcome back. You can also watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on our Facebook page OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Now to the rest of the news. The federal government says 11 power distribution companies have applied for the review of their various electricity tariffs in order to incorporate the changes in the macroeconomic parameters across the country. A notice published by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) added that the discos also stated the reasons for the rate review were premised on factors affecting the quality of service, operations and sustainability of the companies. NERC clarified that the application for rate review by the power firms was in line with the rules contained in the Electricity Act 2023. It will be recalled that some power distribution companies had announced in June that there would be a hike in tariff projected to take effect from July 1, 2023. The discos, however, backtracked the next day after widespread criticisms, as they stated that the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission had yet to approve the hike. Students of Akure Secondary School Commercial School, Akure, have commended all students of the school for investing into their future. The 1998 class of the Citadel of Learning, as part of activities marking its 25th anniversary, organized career talks and rewarded distinguished students who have performed excellently in their academics. Omorela Ogbenji reports that the event took place at the school premises.
I think a student of GSS 3.
An insightful moment for these students of Akure Secondary Commercial School, Akure. Professionals from different fields engage the students on how to make the perfect career choice.
There are a lot of aspects in engineering. Even when you have graduated in the university reading engineering, you must still be trained on the field for at least 4 to 5 years on the field.
For teachings, they ensured they use different techniques, engage discussing and other things. You can't give what you don't have, which means you have to be very vast in your subject area of studies.
The university or the environment you will choose will determine the kind of lawyer you will be. Make sure that the kind of friends you have in the university are the students that will also complement on what you know. Don't make friends that will work against your interests.
For you to be a banker, as a secondary school student, it is expected of you to be good in commerce, economics, and accounting. If you are good in all of these subjects and mathematics as well, because numbers are very germane when it comes to banking.
Speaking on behalf of the alumni on the essence of the anniversary, Martins Famadeji said members of the 1998 set deemed it fit to celebrate their professional successes and encourage students not to give up in their educational pursuit.
We are celebrating those who have distinguished themselves in their studies among you. It is germane to encourage excellence, as it will be a great inspiration for you all to roll up your sleeves and buckle up your belt, for a better tomorrow.
Welcoming the alumni, the school principal, Omoshiliola Akimbo, thanked the old students for their positive contributions to the growth of the school, saying it is an eye-opener to students.
Some of that, there's no adamant correction, but by your coming here today, some of them will still be able to say, if these ones can do it, I too can also do it. So it's an encouragement, and I'm so happy that you took it upon yourself to come today.
Outstanding students from JSS 1 to SS3 were presented gifts.
That really make a very big thing to the school, and their selfless efforts remain evergreen.
It encourages us to be more courageous and to face our study.
It encouraged me more that to be hardworking and be reading all the time.
High point of the event was the cutting of the Silver Jubilee Anniversary cake. Omoriola Ogbenji, OSRC News.
President Bola Tinubu has hailed the wife of General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God RCCG, Pastor Folu Adeboye, for her wonderful virtues, devotion to her husband, the church and family values on the anniversary of her birthday. Adeboye, who is reputed for her evangelical work with children, young people and the downtrodden, turned 75. Tinubu, in a statement by his special advisor, special duties, communications and strategy, Dele Alake, noted with admiration many of the outreach programs of the RCCG targeted at rehabilitating drug addicts and the poor, spearheaded by Mrs. Adeboye. He extolled Mrs. Adeboye's generosity of spirit and unflinching commitment to seeing that young people live value-guided life will continue to be a guide and beacon to many. Similarly, Tinubu has showered encomiums on Nobel laureate and elder statesman Professor Wole Soyinka on his 89th birthday, describing him as a veritable source of support, inspiration, and encouragement. To security now, the Osun State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Kehinde Longe, has brokered peace between the Chief Imam of the Kamaruddin Mosque Oshogbo, Alhaji Kasim Yunis, and the custodian of a masquerade, Chief Kayode Ishuleke, as the annual Egungun masquerade holds in the town. A statement issued in Oshogbo by the command spokesperson, Yemi C. Okwalola, said the two men agreed to allow peace reign during the festival at a meeting held at the instance of the CP. Members of the Kamaruddin Mosque and the followers of the Ishuleke masquerade had a history of dangerous clashes, the last one being the bloody fight of Sunday, June 27, 2021, which led to the death of a member of the mosque, while 9 others were injured. To prevent a recurrence, Longe, who harped on the need to embrace peace at the meeting, also warned that the command will not condone any act that could lead to a breach of public peace. The CP restated that he will not condone anything that will cause the breach of peace in any way. 10 passengers reportedly escaped death while 2 others were injured in a multiple road accident that occurred at the Otedola area towards Berger on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Newsmen gathered that the accident that involved 3 Mack trucks and a bus loaded with passengers occurred around 10 in the morning. The Lagos State Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Babatunde Farinluye, in a telephone interview with newsmen, said emergency workers responded promptly to the accident. The FRSC commander added that the crash was caused by a mechanic fault in one of the trucks. Moving on to the foreign scene, World Health Organization Agency, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, has declared that aspartame, an artificial sweetener widely used in diet drinks and low-sugar foods, could possibly cause cancer. A statement made by the global health body noted that the IARC classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans on the basis of limited evidence for cancer in humans, specifically for the hepatocellular carcinoma, which is a type of liver cancer. According to the body, there was also limited evidence for cancer in experimental animals and limited evidence related to the possible mechanisms for causing cancer. The WHO agency, however, said aspartame is safe to consume within a daily limit of 40 milligrams per kilogram of a person's body weight. North Korea has tested its latest Hwasong-18 intercontinental ballistic missile (ICBM), saying the weapon is the core of its nuclear strike force and a warning to the United States and other adversaries. The Hwasong-18 is the North's first ICBM to use solid propellants, which can allow faster deployment of missiles during a war. The launch reported by militaries in South Korea and Japan has been condemned by the US and leaders in Seoul and Tokyo, among others. Akintunde Akishimola has more.
This is North Korea's latest intercontinental ballistic missile, the Hwasong-18. It launched for the second time this week using something called solid fuel technology. Analysts say that tech allows the missile to fly far over enough to strike targets in the US. And the North Korea says it radically promotes its nuclear counterattack capability. But what exactly are solid fuel missiles and why is it the North developing them? Solid fuel technology allows missiles to launch with little preparation. It's dense, burns quickly, and uses less complex technology and ways than liquid fuel. The missiles also don't need to be filled immediately ahead of launch. And the fuel itself can also be stored for an extended period without degrading or breaking down, a common issue with liquid fuel. Experts say countries that operate large-scale missile-based nuclear forces will seek it out over liquid. So what countries other than North Korea have this technology? Solid fuel has actually been around for a long time. The first time it was used was in fireworks developed by the Chinese centuries ago. It since made dramatic progress as the US developed more powerful propellant in the mid-20th century. South Korea has said it also has it, although in much smaller rockets. But North Korea has put the technology on the forefront. So what does North Korea intend to do with it? North Korea says the weapon is the core of its nuclear strike force and a warning to the US and other adversaries. Kim Dong-yu is a professor at the University of North Korean Studies. He says if they fire a missile with 1.5 or 2 tons of warhead, it can reach all of the US. But putting the US aside, he says the technology has cultural intentions.
실질적으로 북의 의도는 그거 I think external factors are also important, but North Korea's biggest intention is using the missile launch to make an internal union, particularly after July 27th, which is North Korea's War Victory Day. It would be more than halfway past North Korea's 5-year plan, so it is intended to demonstrate not only economic achievements, but also visible achievements in the military, security, and defense sectors.
In the test launch, Japan said the missile flew 74 minutes to an altitude of over 6,000 kilometers, marking the longest ever flight time for a North Korean missile. Akintunde Akinshimala for Osrc News.
Now talking sports, Paris Saint-Germain are preparing to launch a second bid of 120 million euros for Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen. The French champions had their initial offer of 100 million euros for Osimhen rejected in June, while the new bid falls short of Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis' valuation. It still surpasses the offers put forth by other interested clubs. Reports indicate that Napoli value Osimhen at 150 million euros, a price tag that no other club is currently willing to meet. De Laurentiis, believing PSG to be the only team capable of affording the talented striker, has dismissed other suitors such as Chelsea, Manchester United, and Real Madrid, all of whom have expressed interest in acquiring Osimhen's services. The only club that could afford Victor Osimhen is Paris Saint-Germain, De Laurentiis revealed to Mediaset. And that's the news tonight. Before we go, a quick look at the major stories. We told you that as part of concerted efforts to cushion the adverse effects of fuel subsidy removal on the residents, Ondo State government has set up a committee for provision of palliatives. We also told you that the ruling All Progressives Congress APC has condemned the opposition political parties for calling for the resignation of National Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, following the European Union's report on the 2023 general elections. You also heard that no fewer than 11 electricity distribution companies have approached the National Electricity Regulatory Commission for a review of their billing rates in the face of current economic realities. And from the foreign scene, we told you that world leaders have been unanimous in their condemnation of Pyongyang over its decision to launch a fortified ballistic missile. And that's the news at 7. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening.